Hey everybody, Zach here with Gunner Plotters, and we're going to review your plotter step by step, and we're going to break this down to where it's super easy to use, super user-friendly. I'm telling you, this is the most user-friendly plotter on the market. And you're watching these videos because you just bought yours and you have it, and you're ready to get it set up and ready to get it rocking and rolling and able to plot some tint or a PPF or a vinyl wrap or whatever you may be experiencing and be utilizing this plotter for. We're going to walk you through step by step on how to set it up properly, okay? So first off, we have already assembled it at this point. We would have it powered on, and we would have making sure that the software is up to date. And so everything at this point is ready to go. So once we get the plotter on, I'm going to flip the camera around here. So the first step that we're going to be reviewing is the control panel itself and kind of going over each of the controls and what everything does here, okay? So obviously what we got here, this is our control panel, and then it's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. We have our settings, enter, you can set up the scan option button, you can do test cuts, and obviously your run stop. So to be able to move your cutting head, this has to be in offline mode, okay? So obviously we have our roller pins, and we have our grit roller position marks to where each roller goes, and I'll go over demonstrate how to set those up properly and also the pressure points as well. But obviously what we want to do is we want to go ahead and just make sure that everything's working properly when we first set it up. So I'm going to take it to the very end, make sure everything runs smoothly, and then bring it back. And I'm just going to go ahead and stop it right here. So to do that, left and right option, make sure it's in offline. If it is in online, all you have to do is press the run start, and it'll switch it to online. And I'll go over more of that in the next video. But we're going to go and switch this back into offline for our demonstrational video here. So when you first get your plotter, I'm going to go ahead and remove this here. It's going to come like this, okay? So this is your cutting tool. And as you can see, it's probably kind of hard with everything. There we go. You see that the blade is barely sticking out, okay? And to take this out, I'll switch it around here. Just take that out. You're going to remove this. And I'm going to go ahead and show you right now what that looks like. All right, now I got it disassembled and ready to show you. So obviously it's going to come like this. Obviously this would be screwed all the way in. Your cutting blade, there's going to be a separate pack. Your cutting blade is going to go in here. Obviously, cutting blade tip up. And then you're going to go ahead and screw it on, just like so. And then what you want to do is you want to, I'm going to go cross-eyed here when we're doing this. But you want to get it to where you just see the tip of the blade. So obviously I know where my blade needs to be already. But obviously this is based off of the thickness of the film that you're using as well. But personally, it doesn't matter what kind of film it is, if it's PPF or if it's window tint. You always want to make sure you have it to where you're just seeing the tip of the blade. And traditionally, some plotters cutting heads do not have these, but this is essentially like a lock nut. So you want to go ahead, the brass colored one, you want to take it and tighten it down. And now this will not vibrate and loosen or tighten and obviously take the blade out too far. So once you have that and you have it to where the blades is just at the top, you're going to put it back into the cutting head and I'll demonstrate how to do that. And then where we're going to do tonight is go over the position for the cutting head, go over the rollers themselves and the pressure points. And then in the next video, we'll go back into the demonstration of the setting up the settings, going over the force, the speed, the knife set, the whole 9 yards. So we're going to make this super easy, super short videos, so then we can get straight to the point so you can get your machine calibrated and ready to rock and roll. All right, so now once we have the blade in the holder, we're going to go ahead and cinch this down until it's tight. And then once that is set, everything is ready to go. So now what we want to do is we want to set up your grit roller position. So depending on what size film you do, I have mine set up for 40-inch film. Obviously we can go over more in depth with like 60-inch film and 24, but I have mine set up for 40-inch film. So this is your release lever. So before you put in your film, this will be your release lever to raise these rollers up, so then you can slide the film in. Once you have the film in and set in place, you lift your lever back up and it puts pressure back down on the grit rollers and obviously with the rollers themselves. So what you want to do is you want to where your pressure points on your film are on the most outside of the edge. So your most pressure on the outside edges of your film, and you want to have a guiding roller in the center and reduce the tension down where it just glides over the film to help push it through and pull it back, so then when it does not crinkle or doesn't get off center by any means. So with window tint, you are going to have pressure points and indentation in your film. That is what you want. You want it to where it indents and crimps the ends, and that's how you know that your film is going to stay even and also process forward and process back appropriately. And obviously you're going to have your sitter guidance, and I'll show you how to properly loosen that up and how to test it and make sure that everything is operating properly. So to be able to move your grit roller positions, you're going to have to take your lever back, and then you will be able to slide these. Sometimes they're a little stiff, but that's okay. That's what you want. And then you just slide them back and forth to the position that you want them to be. So for instance, if I want to take this one down here, there we go. And you want to make sure that you have them in the center, okay? But obviously I know that I want mine here for 40-inch film. And then I'll slide this one back here on the end. There we go. And now I have these pressures come around here. So these are your tensioning. This is how you loosen and tighten your tension. So they're going to come at the proper tension for the outside edges. So personally, they're all going to come to spec to be to obviously have it to where it's going to give you the most pressure points on all of them. But obviously you don't want that for your center guidance. So what I like to do is go ahead and release the tension with your lever. So we're going to take it from loading to ready. All right. So now this is our, move down to the third one. That's our third one. Same pressure. And then obviously my center guidance, I don't want to leave the indentation. I want to just leave enough of an indent just on the clear side of the window tint. Now obviously PPF, obviously make it a little bit tighter so you have a more even transition forward and back. Obviously the film's a little bit heavier. Window tint is the opposite. It's a lighter film. You do not need that much pressure for your center, and if you do, you're going to leave those indentation trail marks in your window tint themselves. So to do that, to get this one loose, all you have to do is loosen these up, and you can see how loose I have these. I mean, they are super loose. It's just a tad bit too loose right now, but you don't want them super tight, and you just want it to guide across there. So obviously, outside edge, high pressure, low pressure, high pressure. All right. And that's for any film, PPF and window tint. Once again, if you do have a heavier film, to help move it forward and back correctly and not have it crinkle up or shift on you onto the PPF, you might have to tighten down that center one. You have to play with it and figure out what is the best option for you and the film that you use, and also making sure that the plotter is set up to the way you like it. This is completely customizable the way you want it. All right, so we're going to stop here and go ahead and jump over to the next video, and we're going to discuss more about how we set up our force, our speeds, and our depth and everything, including to be able to do your first test cut. Stay tuned, guys.